And they told me that no need to rebuild WebEx. And it took me 1 year. I failed to convince them. So finally, I decided to leave to try to build a new solution to bring happiness back to WebEx customers.
Turned into a global verb. Take us back to the very beginning. How did you first come up with the idea for Zoom?
Back to 2010 timeframe, I was at Cisco. I was corporate vice president over there. And when I came to America in 1997, I joined WebEx as.
In April 2020, Zoom had 300 million daily meeting participants. 18 months later, the stock had lost 75% of its value. Wall Street had written it off as a pandemic stock, a one-hit wonder whose moment had passed. Here's what Wall Street missed. While everyone was declaring Zoom dead, its founder was pulling off one of the quietest pivots in tech history. Not another video call feature, not a better virtual background, an AI platform built from scratch, given away for free to every paid user. A direct attack on Microsoft and Google at the exact moment those companies were charging premium prices for the same thing. Zoom is no longer a video call app. It is attempting to become the operating system for how the world works. And the founder who built it from a single frustration in 2011 is the reason it might actually work. This is the story of Zoom. The rise, the crisis that nearly killed it, and the bet that could define the next decade of work. Section 1. The Man and the Frustration. The whole story starts with a commute. Eric Yuan grew up in Shandong, China. He was an engineer by training, driven enough that he applied for a US visa 8 times before finally getting one. He joined WebEx in 1997 as one of its earliest engineers, WebEx being, at the time, the dominant video conferencing product in the world. Yuan rose to become vice president of engineering. He was good at his job. He was also deeply unhappy with the product. He had a girlfriend, later his wife, who lived hours away by train. He wanted to see her face when they talked. The technology he was building professionally was, in his own words, not making people happy. It was clunky, unreliable, and required an IT department to operate properly. He believed video communication should feel as natural as being in the same room. In 2011, he went to WebEx's parent company Cisco and proposed rebuilding the product from the ground up. Cisco said no, so he left. He took about 40 engineers with him and started building what he actually believed in. That company was Zoom. For years, it was a solid, well-loved enterprise tool. Businesses that used it swore by its simplicity and reliability, but it was not a household name. It went public in April 2019. Investors liked it. Nobody outside corporate America had heard of it. Then the world shut down. Section 2. The Boom and the Crisis. In December 2019, Zoom had roughly 10 million daily meeting participants. By April 2020, it had 300 million. That is a 2,900% increase in 4 months. Not growth, explosion. Zoom was not just a product anymore. It was a verb. It was infrastructure. It was the platform keeping businesses, schools, families, and governments running while the world figured out what was happening. But the platform had been built for corporate IT departments, not for 300 million simultaneous first-time users. And the cracks showed immediately. Zoom bombing became a daily news story. Uninvited trolls hijacking meetings with hateful and offensive content. Security researchers found serious vulnerabilities. The company had made misleading claims about end-to-end encryption. Some user data was routing through servers in China. Lawsuits were filed. Google and Microsoft banned their employees from using it. The trust Zoom had spent 9 years building was shattering in real time, in public, during the biggest moment the company had ever had. Yuan's response was the decision that probably saved the company. He issued a personal public apology and announced a 90-day freeze on all new features. Every engineer redirected to security and privacy. Waiting rooms and passwords became default settings. They acquired a secure messaging company called Keybase and rolled out true end-to-end encryption for all users. It was painful. It was expensive. It was exactly right. Zoom survived its trial by fire, but it could never again be just a simple video app. It had to become something more. Section 3. The pivot nobody saw coming. As the world reopened, the consensus on Wall Street was clear. Zoom was a pandemic stock. Its moment was over. The stock fell from a peak of around $560 in October 2020 to under $70 by late 2022. A 75% collapse. The narrative: people are going back to the office, Microsoft Teams is eating its lunch, and Zoom is a single product company that got lucky during COVID. That narrative missed what was actually happening inside the company. In the fall of 2023, Zoom launched AI Companion and made it free for every paid account. Not a premium add-on, not a $30 per user upsell. Free. Microsoft was charging substantial premiums for Copilot. Google was charging for Duet AI. Zoom gave it away. AI Companion works across the entire Zoom platform. Show up late to a meeting, ask it to catch you up. Meeting ends. It generates a summary, pulls action items, drafts follow-up emails. It uses a federated approach, mixing Zoom's own AI models with technology from OpenAI and Anthropic, using the best tool for each task rather than locking into one system. But the AI is just the engine. The vehicle is Zoom Workplace, launched in 2024, an all-in-one platform combining meetings, team chat, phone, email, and a document collaboration tool called Zoom Docs. One ecosystem, no switching between 12 different tools. Then the vertical plays. Zoom Revenue Accelerator analyzes sales calls. Zoom Virtual Agent handles customer service. Production Studio lets marketing teams create broadcast-quality virtual events. AI tools for healthcare that automate patient notes so doctors can focus on care. Each tool is useful on its own. Together, woven through Zoom Workplace and powered by AI Companion, they form something different, an interconnected platform trying to become the intelligent operating system for modern work. Section 4. The battle ahead. The ambition is real. The competition is brutal. Microsoft Teams has 300 million users and sits inside the Microsoft 365 ecosystem that most enterprise companies already pay for. Google Workspace has comparable reach. Both have significantly more resources, more integrations, and deeper enterprise relationships. Zoom's advantage is focus. Microsoft is trying to be everything: operating system, productivity suite, cloud infrastructure, AI platform, gaming. Zoom is trying to be one thing: the best place to work and communicate, made smarter by AI. Narrow focus in enterprise software is often an advantage. The financials tell a complicated story. Revenue has stabilized around $4.6 billion annually as of fiscal 2025. Modest growth after the post-COVID collapse. The company is profitable. It holds roughly $7.7 billion in cash, giving it room to invest in the AI build-out without raising capital. The stock as of 2026 remains well below its pandemic peak, but has recovered from its lows, trading in the $70 to $80 range, reflecting cautious optimism rather than conviction. The key question: can Zoom expand revenue per user by selling more AI and platform tools to existing customers? Its enterprise base is large and loyal. If AI Companion and Zoom Workplace drive meaningful upsell, the growth story changes. If they do not, Zoom remains a video call company with a declining moat. Eric Yuan applied for a US visa 8 times before he got one. He proposed rebuilding WebEx from scratch and was told no. He left, took 40 engineers, and built Zoom instead. When Zoom bombing and security scandals hit at the peak of his company's success, he froze all new features and redirected every engineer to fixing the foundation. When the pandemic boom ended and the stock collapsed, he started giving away AI tools for free to take on Microsoft. The pattern is the same every time. When the situation gets hard, Yuan makes the harder call rather than the easier one. Whether the AI pivot works against the scale of Microsoft and Google is genuinely uncertain. But the company that was supposed to be a pandemic flash in the pan is still here, still profitable, still building, and now making a legitimate argument for being something much more than a video call app. The next 2 years of AI Companion adoption and Zoom Workplace growth will tell you whether this is one of the great corporate reinvention stories in tech history, or a well-executed delay of the inevitable. Drop your take in the comments. Do you think Zoom's AI pivot is enough to hold off Microsoft Teams? Or is this just buying time? Because the answer to that question is worth paying attention to. Subscribe to Stag Research for more breakdowns like this. The company's making big bets on uncertain futures and what those bets actually mean.